Hi guys, this is an assignment that I would have given you had we stayed in school when we were writing our research-based argumentative paper. I chose to start with a works cited page assignment because this is something that you're going to have to know how to build anytime you are writing a research paper or researching to deliver a speech. If you are college bound, this is something that you will use again and again and again. So even just getting a little bit of exposure with it now could help you in the long run. Um, there are different types of works cited pages, and there's lots of different ways to get there. Knowing the right way to do things, how to make it so that it all comes out correctly in the end, is kind of a trial by error process. So hopefully the information that you will learn here will help you get there faster. So first and foremost, what is a works cited page? It is the last page of a research paper. It has its own page. You would not simply start it as soon as you're done writing the rest of the paper. The works cited page is something that gives your readers your list of sources that you used when you were researching to write about the topic that you chose. So it's called a works cited page because it has a list of all of the work that you cited in the paragraphs of the paper that you wrote. So it's the sources that you referenced in your paper. The reader of your paper, if they like the topic well enough that they say, hey, I want to learn more, where can I go to read more about this? A works cited page is an easy place for them to turn because it gives them the list of sources that you read in order to be able to write about your topic. The other thing that a works cited page does for readers is that it shows that you, the author, went about your topic ethically and that you have truthful information in your paper as much as you can, especially dealing in the climate of fake news and everything that goes on in the world. So it's kind of you covering your bases saying, hey, I didn't just make this up. These are the places that I found this information. So we're using MLA style in English. The English classes of the world, the literature classes that you'll have in college, even if you take some kind of grammar or linguistics classes, those typically use MLA style. MLA is just one type of style to use for citing sources and making a works cited page. The other two most commonly used style sources are American Psychological Association style, called APA style, or Chicago style. There are others out there, but they are not at all frequently used unless you get a nutball professor in college saying, hey, I want you to use this. You're not even going to have to worry about it. So I just mentioned those three because those are likely something that you could come across in college. The American Psychological Association style, the APA style, that is used by pretty much every course of study besides English. So if you're going into politics or social sciences or mathematics or engineering, most of the time when you're writing research papers, your professors are going to want you to write in APA. So it's good to know about that too. But we're English, so we're going MLA with this. MLA style is the only place where you will find something called a works cited page. When you're writing in APA and Chicago, they have the exact same thing, essentially. It's a list of the references at the end of the paper, but they call it references. So works cited, those words are specific to MLA style. MLA guidelines. As new content is created out there in the world, new articles, new books, new web pages and songs and YouTube videos and whatever, rules change on how to cite those things. So every couple of years, the MLA will put out an updated version of citation guidelines. So Make sure that you're always using the most current, the most frequent, unless otherwise specified by your professor. You could have a professor that says, hey, I want you to use the MLA 7 guidelines, even though currently we're on MLA 8. And if you do research online, you can find the information to get that MLA 7 guidelines versus the MLA 8. But without being told specifically or sent to a specific place, how do you know what the latest, most correct citation form is? The website that I would refer you to, excuse me, is called OWL Purdue. It's a college website that a writing center at that college put together. They keep it updated. There's a world of information on that website. If you are following along with this particular Google Slides presentation, I have linked that website for you. It gives you works cited page guidelines, how you put it together, what kind of information you need, what are the formatting rules for it, all of those things. And it also gives you in-text citation guidelines. How do you properly cite a source inside your paragraph? Because you do need to have it cited in both places. You need in-text citations and a works cited list at the end of your paper. If you're not a fan of searching web pages, clicking on links, hoping and trying to find the right thing, you can get paper copies of the style manuals. They are available in ebook form. You can actually get paper copies of them if you go to libraries or if you just buy them from Amazon or a used bookstore online. They are easier to use in some ways because they have a table of contents and an index to look up specific things. But honestly, that OWL Purdue webpage that I gave you that link to, if you look at the menus that are available to you over on the left, it also allows you to click on the more specific things that you are looking for. So this whole thing is to try to get you to go through the steps to build an MLA works cited page. In building a proper MLA works cited page, there are lots of teachers that you've probably had that say, oh, go use EasyBib. There's a wonderful Google extension. Any web page that you're on, you can just click the Google extension and it creates the source for you. Or I have had lots of people say Citation Machine is a good one. Google itself has a citation builder inside Google Docs. If you are searching a regular web page or something in the reference tab that you can find there, the problem with all of those is that they aren't complete. Every single time I have used one of those, the citation has come out wrong in some way, shape, or form. So if you want to have good formatting, if you don't want to have your professors come back and give you poor scores because you didn't cite things correctly, the website that I would recommend for you is called NightCite Citation Service, and I give you the link for it here. This is also provided by a college library. It's wonderful. The way that they have it set up, I'll click on the link for you so you can see it. The way that they have it set up is right here at the top, citing a basic book in MLA format. You have the MLA option. Over on the left, you also have APA and Chicago options. And then they give you different types of books that you can cite, different anthologies, different types of periodicals, multimedia, right? If you want to have, say, a website or a web page that you cite, you simply click on that option over here. It changes the things that you need to be able to find to look up, and you just plug in the information. It punctuates everything for you. It makes things italicized that need to be italicized or bolded or whatever. The only thing that you have to do as far as formatting here is make sure that when you're typing in things, make sure that they are using capital letters. So if you type in John Smith, it's going to keep the lowercase j and the lowercase s. It's not going to automatically capitalize it for you. And as you know, proper nouns need to be capitalized. So you have to do the capitalization there. It'd be the same thing with the website titles, or the document titles, the publisher companies, you have to capitalize everything that should be capitalized. It will do everything else for you. Okay, so giving you an example here, I'm going to go back to a book because that's pretty basic. Say John Smith is still your author here. Book title is, whoa, hang on now. The book edition, it doesn't have one. Volume number, it doesn't have one. It's published by HarperCollins. Don't include the city of publication because it's no longer required, because chances are you're reading a book that was published after 1900. This one was published in 2015. Pages referenced, I got my quote from page 9. It was a print book. So once you have all of the information that you have plugged in, you would hit submit down here. And then this is what you would copy and paste onto your works cited page, right? That's the citation. It looks a little funky. There's lots of punctuation, but like I said, it gives you all of that punctuation, puts it in the proper place. There's no extra anything that's thrown in there. It does a really good job of building that citation for you, which is why I recommend doing Night Cite. Okay, so going back to the notes, other sources that you can use that give you citations or help building citations for your works cited page. If you do research from a database, which is essentially an online library for articles that have previously been published in paper form. So something that was originally published in 1920 in a newspaper, there's an electronic copy of that document that has been scanned and entered and is now stored in this database. Okay, there's lots of different databases out there. They do it for newspaper articles, magazine articles, academic journal articles, medical publications. No library in the world has enough space for paper copies of everything. So these electronic databases are how they keep information organized, categorized, and available to basically anybody everywhere. There are lots of databases that are available to you through the school's media center website, or if you live in Nebraska and have a driver's license, there's something called Nebraska Access that you can access through a Google search, and it's an online database. And in order to access that, it's free, but you have to have a driver's license number if you're accessing it from home. eLibrary is another good one that I like to point students to. This one is available through the school's website. Okay, so these articles, database articles, always come with pre-made citations. It's one of the benefits of using database articles in your research. You don't have to mess around with trying to find all the information that you need in order to make a citation. You can just copy and paste it from what they have done and put it onto your works cited page. It's pretty simple. If you're using any kind of software that isn't Google-based, so Microsoft Word or Pages for Macs, each of those software programs have a citation builder within them as well. It looks a lot like the Night Cite one, but as you're probably using Chromebooks, that's maybe not an option for you now. If at some point you are using a true laptop, I wanted you to be aware that those options do exist within those programs as well. So getting down to it, what are the setup guidelines for works cited pages? Okay, if you want an entire list, I linked that. It takes you to Owl Purdue Writing Lab website, and it tells you, it lists all of the rules that you need to follow in making a works cited page. Basic rules. If you read through that, it'll tell you how to do the formatting correctly. I also gave you the short side of things here, the most important things for you to remember. Okay, your entries have to be alphabetized by whatever comes first on the line once the citation is created. Type of source does not matter. So you, on your works cited page, you would not have a section for your websites. You would not have a section for your books. Everything's all mixed together, just 100% alphabetized by whatever comes first. You do need to have a hanging indent. Lots of people have no idea what a hanging indent is or how to make one. So without me being there in class to show you, the easiest way is for you to watch this short video. I have also linked that for you. It takes you into...
To add hanging indents in Google Docs, you will need the ruler tool.
Okay.
Click View and make sure Show Ruler.
It takes you into the video right away. It has all of the stuff already on the works cited page that you would need to have formatted with a hanging indent. So when you go to make your hanging indent, make sure that you already have all of your entries there. It'll be easier in the long run. But that'll tell you how to do it. You should know that every single source that you quote, paraphrase, summarize ideas from for your paper needs to be listed. This includes quotes or facts that you use for attention getters or in your conclusion, right? It's not just the fact-based stuff that you use in your body paragraphs. Okay, when you are citing websites, URLs are no longer required for websites unless the professor asks for them specifically. If you're using NightCite to build your sources, it gives you the option to either include them or not. For the purposes of this exercise, I don't want them to be there, so you don't have to include them. Everything should be in normal font. You don't have to bold anything or highlight anything. If you do have hyperlinks any place in there for whatever reason, you need to take them out before you turn anything in electronically. You do need to put a title on the page of the words works cited. It should be centered. And if you want to have an example of what a finished works cited page looks like, I have provided an example for you. This is from a paper that I wrote for one of my graduate classes. But you can see that according to the first letter of everything on the entries, it's alphabetized. You have that hanging indent where any second or third line from the citation is indented where the first line is not. You have the italics where they need to be. You have the punctuation where it needs to be. Okay, so everything that you see here should resemble what you turn in from your practice works cited page. Okay. Again, this is to help those of you who are headed to college. If you're going to college, you will have to write a paper for almost every single class that you take, if not more than one paper. My freshman year of college, I was in a college algebra class. Guess what I had to do? I had to write a research paper. So if you think you're going to get out of college scot-free without writing research papers or knowing how to do this, it's not going to happen. So expose yourself now, do a little bit of practice work, do a little bit of formative work here to make your job easier next year when you go to take English again. If you have questions, you know where to find me. Happy works cited page building.